back with more costume goodness. Bee and Pez and Bree in this video are going to be digging into the costumes worn by Anvere and Barthanes. And I'll just introduce Pez and Bree here because, you know, they did their introduction in part one of these videos, but just in case you're jumping in here, I'll just tell you who they are. Pez is a costume expert. During season 1 of The Wheel of Time, she had not read any of the books at that time. She was just watching the show, and due to her knowledge of costumes, because she studied costume design and she's worked in costume design as her profession, she was able to predict things that happen much, much later on in the series just based on clues hidden in the costumes. She's now, of course, read all of the books, so she can't really do that anymore, but she still knows what she's talking about. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing in this video. As well, joining us is Bree. Bree is actually the person who introduced me to Pez. She's a best-selling author. Most recently, she wrote Concert of Fire, which is a very good, very spicy book. Sorry, I just have to say, I generally these days listen to audiobooks, and listening to this book in audio, it gets really, really, really sexy at times. So anyway, she's written Concert of Fire as well as other books, and she's an excellent author, and she knows a lot about storytelling and just the way stories are crafted. And so that's what we're going to be doing in this video. I hope you enjoy. Spoilers. In this video, the only, spoilers don't go really any further than season 2. They go, we talk about book 2 of the Wheel of Time series, so The Great Hunt. So there's that. And I think I mentioned something that happens in New Spring, but that's it. So if you've read up to book 2 of the Wheel of Time, you're good to go. All right, let's get into this.
Let's be nerdy with Let's Be Nerdy. Let's be nerdy with Let's Be Nerdy.
Okay. So I know we've got Rand here in the forefront. Rand is not the focus. It's very hard to get a picture of. I know. This is a gorgeous coat, and it's hard to look at it without wanting to talk about it. I know.
It is. So one of the things I really love about this costume of Anvaere's is look at the delicate pleating on her bodice there, and then the way that the metallic fibers in her wrap or outer robe reflect the light. Like, this is a glittering costume, every bit as much as Rand's, just more subtle palette.
Yeah. And I feel like it was made thinking of this lighting. You're going to be in this kind of lighting. It's going to, twinkle in the light. Yeah,
they're definitely on their Kyrian Pinterest boards here.
And interestingly, not blue like she wears once Moraine is back in town.
That's true.
And it's really interesting too, because she's not camouflaging who she is in this scene. She gives her name. Other characters in the scene are absolutely aware of who Anvaere Damodred is. But the audience isn't, and Rand isn't, and we're kind of in his viewpoint for this scene. So that makes it interesting that she's wearing kind of camouflage in a sense.
And then we see the silhouette of her dress.
The pleat in the front of the skirt.
So pretty.
Yeah.
Well, and all that pleating too means that you've got extra volume of fabric, right? This is conspicuous consumption. This is what conspicuous consumption looks like.
Right. This is, according to the show, a wig. Now, most of them are wearing wigs, but it is supposed to be a wig. It is a very, very good wig.
Canon in the show, we see her wearing wigs. So
yeah. Yes, exactly. I have issues with the way they filmed that. As someone who has worn wigs, it's just there was a transition that you did not show, because that is it's just it's a bit more complicated than what you showed there.
And she's so vulnerable in this scene. And it mirrors beautifully the way we see Moraine get dressed in episode 1 of the first season.
Yes.
Like, we start with her from behind. She's putting on the different layers of clothing and armoring.
I really like the way they used reflection in this as well. Reflection, I know, again, from listening to Wheel Takes, although I think it's meant to show you something about the character and their identity and stuff. And it's very used very well in this sequence where she's putting on her her wig. And then this also goes into that, get back into your thesis, Pez, of the less covered a character is, the more themselves they are. This is her as herself getting ready for the world. Yeah.
Donning
And not
her
just the world,
social
but her
armor.
sister.
Yeah. Her social
Although
armor.
she doesn't know it's going to be her sister, I don't think, in this episode. But
No, she doesn't know
we
yet.
do.
Yeah, yeah. But like she puts all that on just to rest in her own home.
Yeah, it takes that much to face her reality.
And then this was just a moment of its supreme act. I mean, obviously we can see her costume really well here, but this facial expression was her realizing that her sister has come home, and the acting in the show.
So
look
good.
at the neckline on this.
Okay.
It's like the bolero that Moraine has at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really similar.
It is.
Also, she's gone from like she changed. Does she change? Yeah, she has an overcoat on here. And then she
I
goes.
think she takes off like a house coat and puts on that robe, and I think that's also a petticoat that she's in.
Mhm.
So there's probably an overskirt that gets pulled on. To me, this is like in the French Imperial era. There was like this social thing to have people watch you get dressed. Like you would have people come watch you get dressed. It was a thing. And to me, it read like that. Like she wasn't fully dressed and ready for company yet, but she was fashionably undressed in case somebody stopped by.
Right, so that they could watch. Wow, cultures change over time. That is very an odd thing. But yes, okay. Wow. But yeah, here she's like got that fashion, the gauzy sleeves, the cinched cuffs.
And I also loved that this house coat, like, I think it might actually be meant to be chrysanthemums in the brocade on the robe. Yeah, but to me it read like fireworks and suns.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, fireworks.
But there's also like leaves behind it, so I can see it being fire.
Yeah, I think it's some sort of abstract plant. I'm not good at anything with plants other than killing them, so I'm not going to pretend to know the difference between different plants. But yeah, I liked that it could be read as the sunburst.
I know why I took this shot. We're showing like they have the same body posture in this moment. And
they're leaning in toward each other. They're both tired and a little bit stooped.
Yeah. And they are very, very different social status. But I feel like that when I look at this, I feel like these two have worked very, very hard to bring the Damodred family up. Like I read a whole backstory.
He's the only one who has been with her this whole time.
This whole time,
This is her co-conspirator from the last 20 years. Like immediately, I felt that too.
100%. Yeah, like this is like the trusted family servant.
Exactly. Yeah. It's weird because it was like a 3-second shot, and I read a whole story in it.
Isn't
the way Moraine was so comfortable with him too, and just like know, made it seem like he predates them. He predates her leaving, so she knows him.
Yes.
But that tells us that this guy has been with Anvaere through the fall and stayed when it's unlikely many people did.
Yeah.
And also look how he kind of has a little bit of the higher status fashion going on despite being a servant. He's got the finger wave in the hair, and some other aspects of what we see elsewhere as higher status Kyrian dress.
Yeah.
I love the way that these brocades play off of the different lights that they use. It's so good.
Okay, so this is her and Barthanes together.
And that's the cuffs where I was like, he's the darkfriend.
Yeah. I mean, I just went to Barthanes. My theory, probably wrong. I'm wrong more than I'm right. But my theory is that they are not going to change any dark friends from dark friends to light. I could see them going the other way around, but so like when his name came up, I was like, oh yeah, they're not going to. It was nothing to do with costumes. It was just, I don't think they'll change anything.
I can't remember who any of them in the books were. So
I'm a bit of a obsessed.
I'm sorry. Ingtar redeemed himself so hard in the last turning that he's just wasn't a dark friend this time. You're never going to convince me otherwise. I don't want to hear anything about any deleted scenes. He was just good this time. That is my headcanon.
That's your headcanon? Okay. They hinted at it. Like, they showed things in the season before. But anyway, I won't argue with you.
They
That's fine.
did things, but all of them are plausibly deniable to him being a guy
Yeah, they
who
are.
was tortured
Yeah.
about it, but made the right choice. But maybe has
Yeah.
sympathy for people who've made the wrong choice because maybe somewhere inside he knows he's done it
Came
too.
close.
I think this is the only time we see this like overrobe piece of Anvaere's. And again, I love how it reflects the light. And
Yeah.
especially if you look at it with this exact framing, right? Look how she reflects the light and Barthanes
Absorbs it almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, because like it's that is almost designed that way. Like she has so much reflective on here to basically pop. It's that's so
Yep.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yes.
And while I know those are not fleur-de-lis, they're just something about the color and the just vague shape. It's just it's very
has
French.
that resemblance, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I will admit, I mean, I was sort of woo at the lace. Like first high boobs and like
Yeah,
that's some sexy lace, sexy dark lace.
I occasionally have to stop myself from zooming in. I'm like, oh yeah, let's look. Okay, that's just gonna look like I'm zooming in on her boobs. I'm just gonna talk about the lace.
It's so similar to a piece that we see on another character in Kyrian, but it's obviously the very expensive version of it.
Yeah, Celine has sleeves like this, right?
Yeah, and the lace collar around the bodice as well. So I think this is meant to be like Kyrian fashionable undress. But I think it's also meant to show us that like for Anvaere, this is just I am a lady of House Damadred. This is how I am supposed to dress. This is what the world needs to see me as, and so they will, no matter what it takes. Whereas for Celine, it's like that's where I want to be.
I think it's interesting that she is wearing a shawl, which is not something no show watchers would get this, but she's wearing a shawl and Moiraine is not. Like, that is interesting to me.
And again, with how the metallics and the white are so important here, we get the little bit of framing of her face, we get the little bit of framing of her hand. We can then see the lines of her body, how she's kind of slumped. It's so good.
Yeah. This is
dejected.
This is a horrible sacrifice she's made.
Yeah.
To do the right thing.
To realize that all of her energy and time were put into this turd.
To this turd.
This turd explicitly, yes.
Yes. Yeah, it's like his little allegiance here peeking out.
Yeah, a little peek, and I'm just like, oh, I know what they're doing.
Yep.
And it's not just that, right? But it made me feel smug and self-satisfied. So
yeah, he's got that little pinky ring,
little signet ring, and that's very similar in style to the one that Logain wears in both seasons.
Yes.
And then see how he's got more of it exposed. He's trying to make himself appear non-threatening here.
Yep, bringing the savage. Yeah. Okay, question for you, completely random. He's buttering on both sides of the bread. Do you think he's toasting the bread?
I hope so, because otherwise that's messy.
Yes, I don't understand what this means.
Wait, like, this is how it happens. This is how we butter the dragon.
What?
Butter the dragon. You do not butter the dragon reborn.
No, we know buttering the dragon. We do not butter jorts. We do not butter the show version of jorts either. No buttering of jorts. If any viewers watching, Google jorts and jeans, and the buttering of a cat. Anyway, let's move on.
Long story.
Oh gosh.
Very long. Excellent story. Hilarious story. Let's go on. But yeah. He looks so innocent here. Like
But it's so clearly an act. Because when we see him with Liandrin, he is so hungry for power.
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
You know, he doesn't look innocent there. Go back. This dude is literally in an evil cape. Like, this is like a fucking evil opera ghost situation. Like, he does not look innocent. He's just got this pretty...
Look
Sweet
how
baby
his
face.
textiles don't have any reflection again in this
Yeah,
scene.
no
He's
reflection.
in a
Yeah.
brocade. There's a very
Mhm.
subtle pattern if you look really closely,
Mhm.
but
It's swallowing
no
the light. No.
reflection.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's swallowing the light. You're right. Yeah, exactly. It's his face that looks innocent, and like the way he's holding his hands, like there's acting things
Oh, he's
happening
playing
here where
it
it's like
so
he's
well.
yeah,
He's doing a good
Because I was
job.
like, yeah, he does look innocent. And I was like, wait, what? No, he looks like the fucking
no,
opera guest. This is
he
not an
does.
innocent outfit.
Yeah, the outfit
But
is not innocent. This is, but the acting is like
he did a good
I,
job.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous because my auntie, who I really love, just is sort of ignoring me. Like that's the acting. But yeah, his
And
outfit is pure evil villain. Pure
I
evil
didn't
villain.
even get super power hungry from him with the thing with Leandrin. He wasn't down with this. He loves his aunt. It's just,
Mhm.
people spat in his mom's eye and they
Yeah.
had to eat leftovers from the garbage. And he made
Mhm.
some choices. And now, unfortunately, he joined the evil apocalypse club during the apocalypse.
During the apocalypse, yeah.
And
It's,
that's the bad luck for you, bro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Like this facial expression compared to this one, like
Yeah.
this is
He's much
sweet little
harder.
baby boy. This is
Not.
I didn't
I've made
know.
some choices.
I
Yeah,
didn't know the CEO was actually going to come back to life.
exactly. Exactly. Oh, yeah. This is him stealing himself for the decision that he has to
But
do.
at the end of the day, he goes to try to do it. So, he's
Yeah,
not
he
happy, but
does.
he makes his choice.
Yeah, he does it.
He tries to make
Okay,
it
that's the
not
end of.
painful and miserable for her or him, but
Mhm.
not a
He
lot
tries
of
to do it in
credit
a
for
kind
like
way.
gentle poisoning before you murder someone.
Yeah, and I think, of course, the implication being that he's probably done this before. Like he has a body
didn't
count,
seem
probably.
too distressed by the idea, and he
Mhm.
took credit, right? When he was talking with Anvere, he took credit for the rise of
Yeah.
their house. So yeah, he's done things to get his hands dirty along the way,
You
whatever
don't
they may be.
prep a murder this efficiently the first time.
No,
Right.
this
And you
is
also don't get positioned to marry the queen.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I like. I'm certain he has a body count. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. As I said, this video we are discussing Anvere and Barthanes. There are more to come, and we are going to be recording more because there's a lot of gorgeous costumes this season. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Did you call Barthanes being a dark friend? Like, did you notice those clues in the hints, or were you on the Anvere as a dark friend train? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my videos and my content and you want to support what I do have a Patreon that is also linked in the description below. To my patrons, as always, thank you so much. I am so grateful for you. I really, really mean it. And with that, I am going to end this here. So please like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.